Hello and welcome back to another episode of Stu's Reviews. So today, we're going to take a look at something that you guys have been asking me to review for quite some time. And you may have seen it already, because it's on my wrist. Today, we're taking a look at the Honor Band 4. I've not tested many fitness trackers recently, but you lot have been asking me to look at Huawei's latest option, the Honor Band 4. And I must say that straight away I can see why you wanted me to. The word honour is emblazoned into the strap like a reminder of the values that we should live our life by. Its appearance is sleek and unassuming. Its operation is simple and straightforward, with only a single touch-sensitive button on the front and a battery to last you nearly 2 weeks on a single charge. The back is just as simplistic, with a heart rate sensor and a charging port. This inconspicuous nature changes drastically, however, when the screen is turned on, at which point reveals a fantastic AMOLED display that truly stands out amongst the crowd. There's one more thing that tops off this feature-packed fitness tracker. It's waterproof, to a depth of 50 meters. So, first impressions. Well, basing my first opinion on the style, I would say there's nothing particularly special, like it is. I mean, it's a rubber band, it's got a little buckle, which, to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of buckles on fitness trackers. I think it's possibly a bit overkill. I prefer the little pop button style on the Mi Band 3. But overall the style is relatively normal. There's nothing special, but nothing horrid about it either. However, there is one thing that's special, and it's the display. Because the display is truly beautiful. And I'll go into that in further detail in a bit when I can bring the camera a little bit closer and have a close-up of it. But ultimately, it is a fantastic looking device when you take into account the display, because not many fitness trackers have a display quite like this. So actually, when it comes to style, okay, the actual form factor of it isn't that impressive, but the display knocks it out of the park. So that's the style based on face value, but actually I've been using this for the past week. And the real question is, how well has it performed? Now, this is the first fitness tracker that I have tried by Huawei, or however you're meant to say it. I mean, does anybody truly know how you say that word? No, probably not. I'm sure some of you at least think you do, but you don't. No one does. Anyway, moving back to this. I've been quite impressed, to be honest. Now let's dive in to the actual functionality of it. Now this really is a lovely display, and the colours crisp and sharp, and they really pop. So on here on the screen is pretty straightforward. We've got the weather in the top left corner, we've got a few indicators about the status, and we've got things like the date and how many steps you've done on the bottom. By swiping up, we get access to a few more bits. So we've got our goal, we've got heart rate monitor, we've got the rest function, the sleep function. We've got the workout, Alipay, and more. Alipay is basically like Apple Pay to an extent, but it's only really for Chinese people because we don't really have it in this country. Ultimately, this operating system on here is very nice. And it's one of Huawei's own operating systems basically for fitness trackers, and it's very sharp and very snappy. I mean, you can see here that I'm moving it very quickly through, and it's doing very well, a very nice job. Now this screen is beautiful. Those colours are incredible. They really pop on this screen. I really like them. Now, my only criticism about this software is the lack of displays. So if you pop in here like this, you can change between one of 3 watch faces. We've got that one, we've got that one, and we've got that one there. None of which I particularly... Oh, that's a new one. Well, they've added that since I started this review. Okay, that seems to be a consolation. Oh, okay, so they've only added one more watch face. Fine, I'm going to keep it like this because this is the one that I prefer, and I think it looks the nicest. So the software is quite nice. Snappy, quick, responsive, colourful. That screen is incredible, and I think it all marries up quite nicely. My only criticism is that it takes a little bit of time to wake up. It's got this kind of fade sort of animation when you raise your wrist to wake, like this. Now, okay, that might seem really, really petty, but when you compare that to something like the Apple Watch, it is nearly a second quicker at waking up because there's no kind of fade animation. So, could that be removed in a later software update? Well, I hope so, because it is a little bit frustrating. But that also affects things like notifications. I've noticed quite a few times when I've had my wrist buzz like this, it buzzes very fast, but then when I raise my wrist to wake it up, it either doesn't wake up or it takes forever to show the notification. Why is that? Software, probably. It's nothing to do with the hardware because it seems really snappy. So I think that should come about in an update soon to fix those little problems that I found with the software of the actual watch itself. But the real question is, how good is the app? Because the fitness tracker is only as good as the app it comes with. So let's dive into that, shall we? So the particular app that we use in this instance is called the, whatever that word is, Health. So let's pop in there. And you're met with quite a straightforward interface. There are pictures on the interface. See where it says total distance 3.71 kilometers. I hate that. I hate pictures in apps. Just use a colour. Make it simpler. It looks a bit messy, but that's just me nitpicking, to be honest. It's not exactly an issue. But anyway, let's dive back in. So you're met with a few different statistics. For example, today's steps and calories and distance, and also things like your weight, your last session, which is your last activity. You've also got things like your heart rate. You can also see at the bottom, you've got sleep statistics. And I want to dive into this first. So if we just pop in there. Now, looking at this is just ridiculous. There's a lot of information here about your sleep. Now, this is very interesting. I'm using something called True Sleep, I believe it's called. Hold on, let me find out what it's called. Yes, it's called Huawei True Sleep. Now, interestingly, the True Sleep, it says on the internet that the Huawei True Sleep is certified by the Center for Dynamical Biomarkers at Harvard Medical School. Also known as DBIOM. DBOM. I'll never do that again. That was the only time you'll ever see me say that word and pull that weird hand movement that I just did. Anyway, let's dive back in. So this gives you a really in-depth look at your sleep. Now it shows me stuff here. So deep sleep accounted for only 15% of my overall sleep last night. A proper diet can help promote deep sleep. Now, interestingly, I did have a few glasses of whiskey before I went to bed. And we all know that alcohol can affect your sleep. So that's pretty accurate, I would say. If I look at the day before, it shows even less. I think I had some whiskey then. But never mind. It shows you what your deep sleep is like, your light sleep, your REM sleep, which is your dreams, I think, your dream state, your deep sleep continuity, which I have no idea what's that. What's this? Oh my lord, there's so much information on here. There is an issue with this though. The Huawei True Sleep, when you turn it on in the settings, says it will reduce the standby life of your battery. Now, I have noticed quite a big dip. I'd probably say it uses twice as much battery power than before when it was off. But this is the information you get when you turn True Sleep off. That's it. So there really isn't a lot of detail in the sort of sleep thing. It's more like a standard fitness tracker. All it shows me is my deep sleep time, my light sleep time, and how many times I fell asleep. It doesn't give me any information on how I can improve. It doesn't show me anything else to do with my sleep. So overall, is it worth turning the True Sleep feature off to have more battery life? Well, I'll leave that up to you. But I thought, well, turning it on is probably going to help my quality of sleep, because that is really, really in-depth. And do you know what? I think this is the most in-depth sleep monitor in a fitness tracker that I have ever tested. I'm really impressed with that. One last thing you can browse into is the device section. This gives you access to all the settings, and they're pretty average. There's nothing in here that would surprise you. Although one thing I would say is the continuous heart rate monitoring here, you can either have it on or off, but you can't set interval time for your heart rate, which is a little bit irritating, because using constant heart rate is going to use your battery up. But something like the Amazfit Bip, I think, allows you to choose a particular interval, whether it's 1 minute or 10 minutes or an hour or whatever. The fact that you can't choose that, but it's either on or off, is a bit annoying. And you can also manually take a heart rate if this is off. But again, you don't want to be doing that all the time. And I think heart rate and heart rate data is really important if you're looking after your health. It's great to see it in the app. Now we're coming on to potentially the most interesting part of this fitness tracker. How much do you think this costs? 70, 80, 90 pounds? I mean, that screen is probably one of the best screens I've seen on a fitness tracker for a long, long time. But in fact, you can get it for as cheap as 30 quid when it's on sale. And I got this from GearBest, and I will leave a link in the description below so you can check it out yourselves. Generally speaking, it ranges from about 40 to 55 pounds depending on where you buy it from, but at the moment the cheapest place is GearBest. And 30 quid, well, 30 quid. I mean, even if you were going to pay 40 to 50 pounds, I mean, 50 pounds puts it on the same price range as the Amazfit Bip. And no, this is not a comparison. I'm not comparing it to the Amazfit Bip, although I might. And if I do, I'll leave that link in the description below. But moving back to this, it's the same sort of price range. And it's a very, very good option, potentially for someone who doesn't want something that looks like a smartwatch, but something that looks really nice and has possibly one of the best displays I've seen on a fitness tracker. Like I said, I'm super, super impressed with this, and I have enjoyed it from start to finish. Now, okay, fine. It's got a couple of little problems that I'm almost certain could be fixed if Huawei watch my review. The problems, as listed, are the slow wake-up time sometimes when you're trying to look at notifications, the fade-in, which makes the looking at the time a little bit slower, the lack of faces, which again, they could add to, I guess, and the fact that if you turn some of the functions, or you have to turn some of the functions off to get a longer battery life. But really, you probably want the true sleep and the continuous heart rate on, because yes, they're the things that eat the battery, but they're also what sets it apart from other things. But aside from the tiny little problems that, to be honest, is probably just me being incredibly nitpicky, I've enjoyed using this thoroughly. And truly, I think this is possibly one of the best fitness trackers that I've ever tried. The screen, I just can't get over how good that screen looks. And I can't get over the fact that the price is so low for the quality of this screen. And the quality overall of this fitness tracker. Let's put it this way. If you do get one of these, you will not be disappointed. And that concludes today's review. Guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you back for another episode of Stu's Reviews soon. Before you go, consider supporting me on my Patreon page by clicking here. It'll give you some great discounts on stuff I've reviewed and helps me to continue doing reviews. If you want to see some fun stuff, click here to see the highlights of Stu's Reviews. And as a friendly reminder, click this button to subscribe.